Hello and welcome back to Officina Virtuale. Today we're going to be continuing our beginner series and let's talk about PED. So in mechanical design and part design, let's click on OK in our part 1. We will start selecting our XY plane and let's click on sketch and let's sketch our first profile, for example, a circle here. Let's click on exit workbench and we've got this command, PED. Clicking on PED, we can obtain our first with preview element. As you can see here, we've got as a type dimension selected, and that means we can change the length of our cylinder. Preview, for example. We can reverse this direction, the extrusion direction. For example, I can click on reverse direction, and we can obtain the same cylinder in the other direction. I can change the direction even clicking on this arrow here, preview. We've got the option mirror extend. Clicking on mirror extend, we can obtain a double cylinder, 20 millimeter in the positive direction and 20 millimeter in the negative direction. And we've got, of course, more as options. Clicking on thick, as you can see, I can enable these options and we can select, if I click on preview, as you can see here, we've got a thickness 1 millimeter. If I click on preview, we've got this pipe here. We can change the thickness in this direction, preview. I can change the thickness, I can increase the thickness, increasing our radius, clicking on this. And if I click on preview, we've got this, okay. Reverse direction, mirror extend, and so on. We've got other options, we will see even these other options. So let's click on OK. Now let's click on XY plane and let's click on sketch. And now let's sketch, for example, an hexagon, as you can see here, and we can sketch a rectangle here. Okay. Now let's click on exit workbench. We've got in our specification tree our second sketch. And that means our second sketch is both of these two different profiles. So if I click on sketch, if I got my sketch selected, and if I click on PED, I've got the same feature for these two different profiles because they are the same sketch. This is the idea in Catia. So if I click on mirror extend, I can obtain the same extension in both directions, preview. I can obtain thickness, preview, and so on. But we've got another options, and this is the options multipad. So if I click on XY plane and click on sketch, and let's select, for example, this rectangle here, and let's select this hexagon here, and let's click on exit workbench. Now, with these second options, as you can see here, we've got two different profiles because Catia knows that we've got two different profiles. So I can select my first profile and my second profile, clicking on these two different elements here. For example, if I click on extrusion domain, our first extrusion domain, I can select the length of our extrusion. Clicking on preview, we've got this. And if I click on the second element, I can, for example, minus 30, preview, and we've got this different extrusion, this different bend in the opposite directions. And let's click on OK. This is a very important option. Sometimes we will use that in the subsequent videos. Okay. Now to explore the other option, let's click on our ZX plane, for example. Okay. Yes. Now let's sketch. With profile, we can sketch this profile here. You can select this. And exit workbench. And let's click on PED. For example, 50 with mirror extend. This is a very important option because we've got symmetry, and sometimes we will use that as options. And let's click on OK. Now let's select the surface and let's click on plane. So we've got an offset plane. We can change the offset of our plane, as you can see, and we can change the distance between our plane and our reference element, preview, and let's click on OK. And for example, let's click on this plane and let's click on plane reverse direction. So we've got another plane here, and let's click on OK. Now let's click on this plane and let's sketch something in this plane. For example, we can obtain we can use an hexagon. Here we are. So selecting our sketch, we can click on pad, and now we can see the different options. For example, now we've got dimension selected, and we can change the dimension as always, but we've got the options to the next, and as you can see, we've got the extension from our sketch to the next element. We've got the options to the last, and that means we've got these extrusions to the last element. We've got the options to the plane, for example, selecting this plane, preview, and now we've got these extensions, and the last is up to surface. Clicking on this, we can select a surface, for example this, or we can select this to obtain this extrusion, preview, and OK. So those are the different options. Now let's click on this surface, for example, and let's sketch a circle with center coincident with the origin, and let's say, for example, 20. And now let's click on pad, and as options now we've got dimension, preview, but we can select even surface, and we can select as a surface this surface here, so preview, and this is what we've got now. Okay, and let's click on OK. And now we know everything about pad. If you like this video, please consider to subscribe, share, like, and so on. See you soon.